They hate when you elevate. You're stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Sorry about that. I forgot for a minute there, Alexis, what the order of operations was there for a minute. How's it going, folks? Once again, this is the Friday edition of the live stream version, of course, the only version we have of the MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast. I am the co-host, humbled co-host, TrueKnowledge / Jeff S. And I'm here, of course, with my loyal veteran YouTuber and content creator, Cyberneticshark, and his awesome green screen and that awesome She-Hulk logo. And I'm here to basically just be the hype man, kind of like that dude with what's his name, Don Blaze or whatnot in the She-Hulk episode. I'm Alexis's hype man tonight because she's going to special guest moderate the show. So Alexis, please have at it.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Yeah, I'll be moderating tonight's discussion for episode 5 of She-Hulk, where we finally get to see our lady who is mean green and poured straight into those jeans, LOL, JK, JK, take on influencer Titania in court. Of course, tonight also joining us, we have, I'm going to pull up my little lister, make sure I am saying this all correctly. Hailing from sakar.freeforums.net, the podcast of champions. She's going incognito tonight. Renee / Loki's mom. Hello, Renee.
Hello, everybody. How are y'all?
All right. And we got a couple of newbies joining us. The host of the Manic, Pixie, Weirdo podcast, Abigail. Say hi, Abigail.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
And also hosted the YouTube channel jazynerdyreacts and it says author. I'm going to ask for clarification if that's published author and what you've written. We have Jasmine Matthews. Hey, Jasmine.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm a published author. I wrote an adult version of the Disney universe called The Enchanted Forest. It's a really good novel. I've gotten great reviews on it. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say.
so when you say adult, Jasmine, do you mean like almost like pornographic or like
they have their moments, but they're tastefully done.
You know what? Then you should. Abigail is probably going to be hitting you up to guest on her show probably after the show. So at that point,
that's up.
I apologize, Alexis.
Save your apologies for later. I have a sneaking suspicion that you're going to get a lot worse than what we just heard.
No.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk about episode 5. This is, of course, our follow-up. At the end of season 4, we found out that Titania had officially trademarked the name She-Hulk to launch her own line of beauty products, including a snake venom lip pumper. We had beauty serum, beauty oil. I love the joke. It's like, well, aren't all these the same thing? And a booty boosting smoothie, which raises more questions than I really want to get into. But anyway, so we've got our lead, Jen, who had never really formally adopted the name She-Hulk. She had never trademarked it for herself. It was just sort of the name that everyone stuck with her. But now she has to fight for it, essentially for her job, because her boss does not like that she is, the name that they pretty much hired her for is now promoting these sham products. All right. So let's go ahead and get started here. Renee, I'll go ahead and start with you. What were your thoughts on finally getting to see? We had seen Titania briefly in the first episode when she fights She-Hulk in the courtroom, but we don't really know enough about her. We didn't really get to see her. What did you think about her in this episode?
Well, she was really smarmy. I didn't like her at all. She's, I guess we're not supposed to, put that out there. Yeah, and she's just the whole character, the way she's presented. She's supposed to be a mutant or something. I didn't really get that, other than she's just big, and maybe that's what happened in an earlier episode. But then in this, it's all just. And I'll be frank, I'm a little older than the rest of you girls and boys, and I'm probably hitting up towards 70. So the whole internet influencer thing is, I didn't experience that. It was like you watched the paper when Manic had their sale and you run down.
How old are you, Renee?
I'm 68.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm a little beyond that, so I'm going to have to review this show based on, what is that? It's crass. I found it, and of course it's supposed to be crass and everything, so it really came across that way. I did not like Titania at all. Maybe she's got some hidden charm somewhere. I haven't seen it yet, but anyway, that's just my thoughts on her.
Yeah, I will say this actress really knows how to play her as just incredibly unlikable. Because I've seen this actress give interviews. She seems like a really smart, very talented woman, but she just is so unlikable in this role. I'll go ahead and ask this just out of general. Is anyone here familiar with Titania's character from the comics?
Yes,
No.
Jasmine is. I am. Cyber knows a little bit about her, I think, too. And I believe that the actress that plays her Titania is Jamila Jamil.
Yes.
Yes. And Jasmine, do you want to explain Titania's kind of deal or whatever?
That's what I was going to ask. Jasmine, you want to take the floor and give us a little bit of a comparison between how she's presented in the show and what we know of her from the comics?
Well, Titania is I like what they're doing, to be completely honest. They're basically doing the whole TikTok YouTuber star spin on it, compared to how she is in the comic, where she is more of a warrior type of person. She basically comes out and just hates She-Hulk and basically becomes a repetitive villain for She-Hulk herself. Titania has been described as one of Marvel's strongest supervillains and one of the greatest foes of She-Hulk herself. So it's a big difference, because especially with her being hit and knocked out after one punch, basically, is a big difference from what she is in the comics, because she's strong enough to lift about 85 tons. And now she can lift in the comics about 100 tons. So having her get knocked out like that was like, I was like, I'm okay with it, because now that we know who she is as a character now, I'm kind of glad she got punched.
I will say, I kind of wish that they would do more to explore, because they said that she's a superhero. They said she's not a superhero, but she's super powered. They mentioned that in some of the background dialogue that we saw when they were discussing her getting arrested and the traffic violation, I think is what they said she was in court for in the first episode. Jeff, you had something to say?
Yeah, essentially, just to make it clear, she in the comics she essentially gets her real full power set from Dr. Doom in like the whole Battle World Secret Wars deal. You know what I mean? Like, that we may potentially be getting in the MCU. Hopefully, we don't know. Potentially down the road. Essentially like she ends up in Battle World and teams up with Dr. Doom, and Dr. Doom like enhances her. Beyond, her natural, like at that point, she already had super strength and whatnot and everything. She's kind of like an anti-hero. Like she's almost like a villain, she's like a Thunderbolts kind of character in a way.
Yeah, which is interesting, because I believe they confirmed she's not joining the Thunderbolts in the upcoming movie. So, because I do believe, I could be wrong, but I think that when they first announced she was going to be in the show, there was a lot of discussion. Oh, she'll probably be in the Thunderbolts movie. But of course, we just got the casting for that. So
I actually have some info on the Thunderbolts too.
Please go ahead.
When it came, I recently found out from some sources that basically, you know how during the Sokovian Accords, they basically were saying how much, especially over the span of the original 10 years, they were saying that the government really wants their own super soldiers.
Of course.
So this Thunderbolts isn't the ones that we're going to get later. This is kind of what the government is finally wanting. They finally have the, the super soldiers that they want. That's why there's like a few of them on the squad, and then you have Black Widow, and they're basically using them. I know fairly well that they're probably blackmailing Bucky in order to get him on there, especially after he just did all that recovery and therapy. So there's no way he would have been on there like willingly.
Absolutely. Let's face it, nearly every comic book story at one point or another, they have the story arc of the government wants their own superhero team that they can control completely. All right, so let's go ahead. We also got a story arc going with Nikki and Pug managing to find a superhero tailor. We have our Edna Mode of the series who makes costumes for the superheroes so he can finally make some suits for She-Hulk. That I love that she shows up and it's like, okay, we just need something that fits her when she is tiny as Jen and does not get completely destroyed when she's in her She-Hulk form. Abigail, what did you think about this tailor character? What did you think?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was spot on. I thought it was very well done. I thought that it was a very cute B plot to the whole thing. It kept you going and it gave you someone to like root for and like kind of figure out. So I was very excited.
Absolutely. How do you like that we didn't actually see the suits that he made? They were all in bags.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for that though. So I'm a sucker for like the cliffhanger of like just wait and you'll see it later kind of thing. So I loved it.
Absolutely. I thought that was a clear idea because now we all want to see that second thing that he made for her, which of course is probably going to be the official She-Hulk costume. The purple unitard, I guess is the term that we're going to use, but pretty sure that's what he made for her. So let's see here. Do we want to talk more about the trial, or do we want to get to what obviously everyone remembers from this episode, that little Easter egg at the end? What do you guys say? Anyone have anything else they want to say about the trial?
I have something I wanted to say about Edna Mode, though.
Please do.
It's so nice to have some queer representation in the show that isn't just kind of a glance over and not a kind of like they're there being stereotypically gay and they're, just being themselves. And it was giving me very much Edna. And a lot of people were complaining that the layer, the wardrobe, is behind a shake and stake. It's like, no, it's underneath it. They took an elevator down. People don't understand that there's probably more to it, and that's just what we're seeing. And I enjoy it because of like just seeing that they also have like wardrobe for like shoes and stuff, and the Easter eggs that were in it. It just gives me very much a broader like Incredibles type of escape for somebody doing wardrobe. And we always wanted to know who did these outfits because, like, how does Captain America get this without having to go through the government? It was a very tasteful way to insert that, even though the episode felt short. It was short.
That's true. I mean, Lord knows Tony probably provided a decent amount of suits and everything for the team, but not every superhero's got Stark technology on their side. And not every superhero can be like Spider-Man and actually sew their own costume.
Alexis, if this fits into the time frame you're talking about, would it be proper for me to mention the dynamic between She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, and her friend, her best friend, Nikki Ramos or whatever from the law firm? Is that like around the same time?
Well, Nikki doesn't really have anything. Well, she doesn't work directly with Jennifer in this episode. She goes to get the suits made for her with Pug. Oh, of course, we got Pug, who is apparently a superhero shoe collector and is trying to get the Iron Man 3s. Did anyone else pause the end credits with the illustration of all the shoes
I
that he had?
did.
I
Yeah.
saw it. Yeah, it's like, well, okay, it's like who do we see there? We clearly saw Deadpool,
Cyclops.
I saw Cable.
There
I think,
was
There was a
Hobgoblin
Moon Knight,
shoe.
wasn't there?
yeah, I think there was a
Jack
Doctor
O'Lantern.
Strange with his classic 1970s symbol on it.
Storm.
There was Storm. Wasn't there a Wolverine?
The Thing.
The Thing. Oh my God, you're right. There was the Thing. There
And
was
what
one.
sucks, and what sucks is we didn't get to see the actual scene. I would have loved to have seen them do that.
We're probably going to
that
see it
scene.
later.
Yeah.
Remember,
hopefully,
they had to change everything and rework it because of the very first episode. The very first episode was actually the end of the season, that fight scene. And it was supposed to be a longer situation. So we're probably going to come back to Titania in that fight. But the reason why everything's been kind of turned into illustrations is due to the fact that they're trying to rework everything just due to a little bit of formatting.
Oh wow!
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about that. That explains some things.
Right?
All right. So, does anyone else have anything they want to talk about specifically with the trial sequence?
I do.
Yes, please go ahead.
I love the part where She-Hulk and Titania were having that little discourse in the courtroom. It was a little bit of eyes. It was the fact that she said Shrek. Like, Shrek is canon now. And that's awesome. Like, as somebody that loves Shrek, I was just like, yes, nice suit, Shrek. Come on. But it's nice to see that they also have influencers in the MCU. And a lot of people think it was kind of like Renee said, kind of crass, but that's actually how they are. That's what an influence looks like. Everything Titania was doing is exactly how they are.
Down to bringing in samples of her work like she was doing a product demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, which I brought samples of. It's like, you can't give that to the judge, right?
And she tried.
That's very illegal.
That bailiff took it, though. He saw him run over there. Ooh.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, did the bailiff take it because he wants it, or did he think it was going to get entered as evidence?
He wanted it.
He ran over and snatched that.
Mhm.
He was like, "It's free." It was really nice just to see how it's getting more like a lawyer show with the more court the court scenes we're getting. I'm excited for next week's because it's going to be really She-Hulk, Daredevil episode. And it's going to be longer because I've noticed the pattern of the episodes is literally long, short, long, short, and then we get a long one again. So I'm excited for the next one because we kind of need more lawyer scenes in the show because it feels less like a lawyer show and more like a ABC special. It's given very much those TV shows from the early 2000s.
You know what? I'm actually glad you said that because in addition to needing more law scenes, I'm actually hoping for more action scenes. I mean, this is a superhero show, and we have really not gotten that many action scenes in this series. And I'd really like them to step that up. I mean, I want to see She-Hulk in battle. Seeing her fight off the Wrecking Crew, seeing her help Wong fight those demons, but that was great.
And they're coming back. That's what's so wonderful about the next episode and proceeding forward because they kind of wanted you to get to know her a little bit. And, they have to, show that she's fighting with herself, between being Jennifer Walters and being She-Hulk. Who is she? Because she's having an identity crisis. I mean, you've seen her struggle with just dealing with the fact that someone named her She-Hulk, and she just wants to be a lawyer. But that's pretty much all I have to say. Y'all go.
All right. Well, I guess we can also talk about this. I'll go and see. The fact that to win the case, Jen has to bring in those 4 nightmarishly bad blind dates that she had to explain that, yes, she has been using the name She-Hulk for herself. Who wants to take the reins here and talk about the scene with bringing in those 4 dates? Because that was pretty freaking painful.
Why don't we let the men? Cyber, why don't you take that one, and then I'll jump in after.
All right. I absolutely loved this scene. I thought it was absolutely hilarious because what better way to prove your case was to have people that want to know you because your name's She-Hulk. So I thought that was really clever writing, and I really enjoyed the whole sequence because each of those characters coming back was really funny. And especially at the end, after the case was won by them and Titania is leaving and the one like really buff guy is like trying to hook up with her. That was absolutely hilarious.
That was hilarious. It's like, you have no shame, dude.
And I mean, leading up to it, because there's the sequence where the one guy, unfortunately I don't remember his name, but he was the one that was like kind of obsessed with her, and she sees him at the law firm because he has a lawyer there too. And he's like, and that's kind of what brings it to her forefront, is that whole sequence was really funny too. Him like, yeah, I have a lawyer here too. We're real pals. And he's like touching her and she's like, don't touch me. And that was like really funny. And I think that was a great segue to it. But yeah, that whole sequence I thought was really clever and a great way to prove that, you know, She-Hulk is her name and that's what is synonymous with her, not that it's, you know, supposedly publicly trademarked by Titania, when in reality she's just using it to make money off of it because she got her butt kicked at that beginning scene.
Actually, Cyber, I'm glad you brought up one of the guys here, because there's a theory that I saw online that I want to kick to you and ask what you think. So the dude that gives her the idea, I don't remember if they give any of these dates names. They leave that little of an impression, let's be honest. So I'm just going to call him Scarf Guy. Scarf Guy, if you remember on the date, asked her all these questions about her powers, like how much can you lift? Is your skin impenetrable? All this. Like he was taking notes, and then he shows up at her law firm. Do you think maybe he was there to spy on her? Maybe he's getting information for someone? Maybe that date was not just I'm fascinated with you. Maybe it was somebody is paying me to get more information on you.
Yeah, I thought that last week. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that is very possible that he is, you know, he went on a date with her and is working. He might even be a part of that gang we saw in, I think it was episode 2 or 3, when she's being tried to be jacked by those guys that are in the van.
Wrecking Crew, yeah.
The Wrecking Crew. Maybe he's a part of them. Maybe he's actually the mastermind behind it. You never know. I mean, there is all kinds of possibilities, but that is a good point, that there could be more to his character than what we know, because I do know that that actor, he was in Baywatch with The Rock. He is super funny and hilarious, and I believe when he was cast, his supposed part was a little bigger size of a part that he was given. So that might end up being what it's all about.
Okay. All right. Jeff, what did you think about the whole sequence with the bad dates?
Well, like Cyber said, I mean, I thought it was like the highlight of the show, if anything. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I thought it was like the coolest, neatest like addition or like thing that popped up, like out of, you know, that kind of surprised me, and it made me genuinely laugh, and it was like an awesome tie-in and connection to reflect off of the last episode and like tie that in, or, you know, was it the last episode? Yeah, the last episode. That she had the whole bad date, you know, marathon or whatever and whatnot. You know, so I love that they made that connection from episode to episode, because I like to see that in a TV series. You know what I mean? To make those kind of connections, you know, and tie things in like that. And the fact that they actually managed to use those like bad date sequences with those guys in like a productive way, You know what I mean? Like, and made them like such an integral like aspect of her winning the case and whatnot and everything. Not that I'm trying to get ahead, but it just was really like a great idea. Like, you know, whoever thought of that, like, you know, and planned it was like, you know, it's a genius move. And it worked. And if anything, it added a little, I don't know, it added a little something more, I guess, like, you know, more tangible than some of like the more kind of loose knit stuff that happened during the episode, you know? I thought this was kind of like a real light episode in a way.
Yeah, this was a very light episode. It's a good way to put it. See, we got Andrew listening in. Always happy to have him on board. Love you, man. Right, so
yeah, I want to add something. And you, when you said the word painful, Alexis, it's brought it to mind. I've been watching. If you watch how Jen Walters has devolved a little bit, we see her in that first episode, that opening sequence where she's very confident. She's got this. She's going to go out there and she's going to win this trial, and she's not going to let that pencil neck bully her and whatnot, and yada yada. Then she becomes She-Hulk, and everybody wants She-Hulk. She-Hulk's the successful lawyer now. She-Hulk's the one that everybody wants to date. She-Hulk's the one that Titania wants to scarf off of and glom onto and make money off of. And if you watch how her character and how her demeanor, the Jen's character, as each episode she gets more and more mousy. And you even see it when she's wearing, like, she probably had to go out and buy a man's suit and reverse the buttons or something for her She-Hulk. And then when she shrinks back down, she's swallowed up into this suit. And that's really, and she's really becoming less and less herself and more. So I think there's a dynamic. How is she going to get Jen back and make Jen be the heroine and not She-Hulk, you know? So I just I thought that's something very interesting they're doing and hadn't really been brought out yet.
that is a good way to look at it. And yeah, it is rough for her that everyone keeps criticizing her clothes when she's clearly wearing a men's suit because that's all that she can find that fits her.
Right.
Yeah, it needs to go find the special linebacker line.
And now they want to dress her. Now her breast, they want to send her. And now we're going to dress you, Jen. We're going to put, you know, she's not being able to do it herself. So, anyway.
Yeah. Well, there is something to say. I mean, when you're working as an attorney, you know, we don't like to say appearances matter or something like that, especially when you're working as a lawyer. But the truth is that, yeah, your appearance does matter. People are not going to take you seriously in the courtroom if you're not really dressed that professional.
But I'm talking about they're actually sending her to this courtier, whatever you call him, haute couture. I should know that because of my dear friend, Lady Death Lady. She's very deep into fashion. But anyway, yeah, they're doing that. She's not the one who wants to go in there and have this special suit made for her, which hopefully is going to work out where it can be like she shrinks back down and the outfit turns into whatever outfit she wants it or something like that. Let's hope it'll be something like that. But yeah, I think just watching her become less and less, I think, has been kind of, as you say, painful. And then she was humiliated. She had to be humiliated, you know, in the court just to get her name back in
Absolutely.
that courtroom. Yeah. So yeah.
All right, here. Okay, so also going back to Titania, she has lost the case. She has to recall all of her products now that she had sold. And we saw Nikki looking at the price. These things were very expensive, so she's about to lose a ton of money. Obviously, she's pissed. What do you think she's going to do next to get back at She-Hulk? What do you think is the next step for her? Let's see here. Anyone want to take that one first?
I'll take it.
Go for it, girl.
Basically, I did want to mention that Todd is the name of the guy that she actually liked that she slept with.
Oh, okay.
Basically, I think we're finally going to get the Titania She-Hulk rivalry that we really wanted outside of the influencer spinoff, because she straight up said death to you when she was leaving when she was in that courtroom after she left. And it seems very much like we're finally getting a rivalry that we need, and not killing off a villain, because Marvel really has a tendency to kill off villains. And I also know we're getting back. I can't remember the name of the big-headed guy that was in Incredible Hulk.
The leader.
He's about to come in. So he's supposed to be showing up in Captain America.
Yes, Tim Blake Nelson as the leader has been confirmed to be the villain. Jeff, I can't remember when I hosted this last. We were talking about, I think it was episode 3. You brought on a guest who actually predicted that the leader was coming back. I believe went under the screen name Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, Kevin.
Kevin, yes. Yeah, Kevin, if you're listening, man, props for the prediction. Very impressive.
Yeah, that was a good call.
Yeah.
Abigail, were you going to jump in just a second ago or whatnot?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, I think like the best way for Titania to get back at Jen at this point, or She-Hulk at this point, would be to file an injunction for emotional damages. And
she would.
Yeah, she would.
and sue for that, sue for loss of product and loss of and damages. So that I think would be like her best like course of legal action against Jen or She-Hulk. But do I see that happening? No. So
it would be kind of fun to see Titania kind of lose her audience, because we know she's got over several thousand followers. It would be fun to just watch everyone dwindle away because she starts losing what's important in all of her stuff now is against Jen Walter She-Hulk. Everyone's like, okay, we're getting a little tired of this.
Well, I think that's probably where they're going to go with that.
I'll tell you, Alexis, I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but I'm not like saying it's a big problem for me or anything like that and whatnot, but I kind of don't like it when they drop superheroes or villains into shows or like superhero movies and they don't explain their powers in any way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the fact that they didn't tell us anything about how Titania has super strength. You know what I'm saying? Like, normally when you that's one of the cool things about reading the comics is like knowing, like figuring out, like finding out how like Captain America got his powers and Spider-Man got his powers. And that's always like linked to some extent across the span of
I definitely agree with you, Jeff. I'm hoping that we're going to get another episode soon that has some kind of backstory on Titania's powers, especially since this episode she didn't even show her powers at all. So it's just like, it's like, if you're super powered, how did you get them? What are you doing? All we've seen her use her power so far was that breaking through the wall in the first episode.
Go ahead, Renee.
If I can jump in real thanks. For someone like me who has no clue who Titania is, it helps to get some sort of backstory in the beginning. If it's only a paragraph, a paragraph of exposition or something, get some idea. Because I have no clue who she is. She just looked like a freak when she popped through that wall with her fringy height.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw the outfit, and I was just like, "I'm sorry, are you from like '80s WWF or something?" Because the fringe on the shoulder blades alone is like, "Whoa, okay, massive '80s reference here."
Yeah, and
vintage,
and like I say,
very vintage.
There are fans of it like myself who have some knowledge. I read the comics back in the Silver Age, but all the new stuff I'm not that familiar with, and I try to glean as much as I can off the internet and whatnot, and try to get myself up to date. But then sometimes it's just they come out of the blue and I have no clue who they are, and so hey, we're fans too.
She's not actually super powered. What they said, she was slightly super powered. Think of her kind of like Scarlet Witch in the very beginning of when she was introduced into where her powers were there, but they weren't elevated to the point of where they are now. I think they're probably going to do, like Jeff said, wait until they introduce Doctor Doom, which is played by Henry Cavill. And
Wait a
Henry
minute.
Cavill. No, that's not true, Jasmine. Henry Cavill.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's confirmed.
Get out of here.
Yes.
Okay, Jasmine, sweetie, I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I need evidence. Where are you getting this confirmation from?
You can actually go on YouTube and look up the D23.
Well, we know that Cavill has been confirmed.
He's actually in the Fantastic Four movie as Victor Von Doom.
It was confirmed he's going to be in Loki season 2, but they didn't reveal what his role is. You're saying he's going to play Doctor Doom?
Yeah, I actually saw the wall where they introduced all the actors, and I know it's true because the actress accidentally spoiled the fact that she's in it.
Were you at D23?
I have friends that were in D23. That's the reason why.
Okay. All right, cool. I'm not doubting you or anything. I swear. I went to school for broadcast journalism. I like to double check sources. So
if you want, I can send you a link to the proof so that I can back it up.
I'll tell you what, if you want to send that link to Jeff, you can pull that up and we can
I don't need the link.
I don't
need the link. All the people that cover Marvel on a legit level and whatnot and everything have not said that this is anything even happening. So at that point, I don't need a link. Like, it's that simple. Like, if this was a tangible thing at all, there's already 50,000 people that are like better at us, that are bigger than us on YouTube, that would have already fucking reported it. Like, and shouted it out the rooftops. It would already be out there. So, like,
hold on, I'm going to send it to you.
You might have it.
Okay, hold on. I think we have a bet going here, Jasmine. If you are if you are right, and they announce that he's playing Doctor Doom, what do you want out of Jeff for being right on this? What is the stakes of this?
Look, I'll tell you what. I'll stop. I'll be abstinent for a year. Okay.
Oh, please. That's bull.
So it'll be the same as the last 5 years. What's
nice.
You walked right into that one, Jeff.
He can mail me peach rings. There you go.
Okay, hang on. Jeff, she sent the link into the private chat.
Okay.
You are the one with the tech. Would you mind pulling this link up for everyone to see?
I just want to put it out there really quick. Henry Cavill's a good-looking guy, okay? Like, that's one of his appealing factors as an actress, right? You know what I'm saying?
He is
how
hell.
much logical sense would it make to put him in a role in a film series where he's going to have a mask on the entire fucking time? Like, how is that going to play? Are you going to change the character of Dr. Doom to one that doesn't have a mask anymore?
Well, no, obviously. No, but Jeff, please, pretty please, will you please pull this article up and put it on the screen for all of our viewers to see? I want this going on record.
I'm getting it right now.
I do it myself, but I'm not logged in onto Spreaker in this, so.
No, it's good. I got it.
So it says in the article, a majority of the leaks have usually implied 3 things. Henry Cavill is joining the MCU, and either he is playing Hyperion. I don't know how to say
Hyperion.
That. I'm sorry. In Loki season 2, or some other major villain, or C, he's playing a major Fantastic Four character, but nothing, it looks like, is confirmed just yet.
Oh, that was the first.
I will say, if he's Doctor Doom, again, it's a shame that we won't get to see his gorgeous face, but that would still be wonderful casting. I would have no problem with him playing that role.
Yeah, because they've said that he's accidentally been leaked, that he's Victor Von Doom, and I've seen plenty of D23 videos on YouTube as well that have been actually them there, but hey, it was the first article I found.
Yeah, I do love everyone still saying he should play Captain Britain. It's like, come on, guys, can we get a little more creative than that?
No more Superman roles for him. Let's give him a little bit more.
So exactly.
Diverse background.
Captain Britain's a boring character, but it is way too similar to Superman, except it's British. Mm-hmm. It's like, let's give him something a little bit more with a little more juice to it.
He's a great actor. British too.
Yeah, he's British.
Mm-hmm. I thought so. So that's like 2 on the nose.
See, now it also says in this article right here that he's also rumored to play Wonder Man. when they do the
That-
Wonder Man.
No,
they do
he is not Wonder
series.
Man. I know that much.
That's been proven false.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
See,
the
now
actor that I heard was rumored for Wonder Man is Cheyenne
Oh,
Jackson.
here you
and I
go.
really hope he gets the role.
I found
I
it.
like him.
The video I was talking about. Oh, it's about. Here you go. It was on TikTok.
All right, Jeff, you know what to do. Did you see the TikTok link she just sent?
I see it.
Okay.
Me detouring the whole conversation about Henry Cavill.
I think we established not a lot happened in this episode, so it's perfectly fine.
Don't be Don't be
Sorry about that. Is this actually just like a TikTok video?
Yeah, it's someone that was actually at D23. You gotta go in the beginning, I think. There you go. You could have paused in the very beginning.
Okay, well, I don't know. That doesn't my last words on that is that does not do anything for me. in
Prove
terms of
anything, really?
Yeah, the tangibility factor
Really?
of
Here,
the,
hold on. D.
of the premise. No, I don't
Really?
need any more. No, please.
Like I said, do we want to put a bet on this? If they reveal it's true, do we? Okay,
Oh, I
hold on.
found the
Renee,
picture.
Abigail, Cyber, do you think that we should have a bet going on with these two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cyber,
for
you're the only one who hasn't
You're
said
gonna
anything.
hate me because I'm right.
I don't believe in bets
I don't
I
either.
wouldn't with me. Trust me.
because honestly, I mean, it could be true. It could be true. We just
Here you
don't
go.
know.
From actually D23.
That's
So-
true. You know what? I mean, hey, I will. I mean, look, I definitely will
Hate
admit
me.
that. I mean, I've been pretty solid. Like I mean, I called it. Like a year ago, I called it and said, like on multiple shows, our show and multiple shows as a guest, that like the Miss Marvel Disney Plus series was going to end up being solid. Like it was going to be a good show. I just felt like in my gut that it would end up being all right. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be terrible, at least, right? And it was. It was a solid show, right? You know,
Was.
You
And-
you predicted a Marvel Disney Plus show was going to be good. Wow, you're psychic.
and I said that She-Hulk. I mean, when we were, when I did like a preview show for Phase 4 a long time ago, I said I thought She-Hulk was one of my like picks too, of like my sort of dark horse Disney Plus series that I thought would be standout ones. And I thought so far that like the She-Hulk Disney Plus series has been, I don't know if it's been the best one this year out of everything we've gotten, but it's been close.
All right, Jasmine, do you want to put down anything if you're right? You want to put any stakes on this?
Go for it. I don't care. I'm not scared. Go ahead.
Okay. Jeff, you want to put anything down on this?
No, I'm not a bettor. Like Cyber said, it's
He's
just,
not an
I've
idiot.
No, I'm not into betting.
Try
It's
me.
not-
Try me.
It's not my thing. I've never been into it, and I never bet. I never do. I don't gamble. I'm not into it.
Oh, you're no fun.
Oh, you're smart.
Yeah.
Right?
See,
Boo.
at the Radicalism Broadcasting Network, we actually do bets, but it's never on money. We always do. It's like, if I win, you have to do this show with me and review this. If you're right, you get to pick a show. And that's how Jesse Starcher and I ended up doing our review of the Hell of a Boss series, because I won a bet when the Chiefs beat the Browns. Kansas
Or
City
11
all the way.
Okay, so I see this Twitter thing. It says the cast list was shown at D23 Expo. What a great cast list. Kevin Feige, yada, yada. Excited to see Henry Cavill as Victor Von Doom, aka Dr. Doom.
Okay, now this does okay. Jodie Comer has all but been confirmed for Invisible Woman, and I think that's her I see there. Again, perfectly fine. I don't know her from much, but she was great in Free Guy.
Yeah.
That's John Boyega. They're saying is that John Boyega? They're saying is going to play the Human Torch. See, that's my problem. I can make out who the actors are, but I can't see the print underneath them. I can't see what's written underneath. If anyone's got better eyesight than me,
No,
please.
Seth Rogen is playing the Thing.
Okay, but is that saying that Boyega's playing Human Torch?
No, I
Boyega.
don't
No,
think so.
Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm,
Storm
yeah.
is the Human Torch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Sorry,
playing.
I'm sorry. I cannot read the text underneath the names.
No,
Um,
it's fine. Yeah,
yeah,
it just says Johnny Storm underneath John Boyega.
Okay, and that's Shankman there on the bottom left. That's director. And this is saying Krasinski is going to play Mr. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if he is, I will be doing backflips throughout my house. I have wanted that for I don't know how long.
They did confirm that he is coming back.
Yeah, because I know after Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, they basically said something to the effect of, "Oh, that was just fan casting to make everyone happy." Yes, Cyber.
From my understanding, I saw an article about a week ago saying that basically what it alluded to is that Disney does not pick somebody to play a particular part in a film without having them slated for something else. And basically that confirmed that Krasinski was going to be playing Mr. Fantastic. They said that at D23 or that at D23 that they were going to confirm that with the live people there, but not to the public through the internet.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you would think that something like that would get leaked pretty fast, because even though I know they check to make sure no one brings their cell phones in when they do trailer previews and everything, so when something actually does get leaked online, I was looking and go, who the hell sold their soul to get that out?
Alexis, Cyber makes a great point, though. It's very logical if you think about it, and it's very Marvel Studios. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you're making that kind of financial investment into a character and an actor, you know what I mean? Like, why would you even bother just having him come in and do a cameo like that when you know that the whole fandom wants him to play that freaking character? Basically, you know what I'm saying? Like, like at that point, wouldn't that be like a really big like disappointment to the fandom if all of a sudden all it ended up being was the Doctor Strange Multiverse of the Madness, then we get the Fantastic Four film and it's not him?
It would also make sense if it is Cavill as Doctor Doom, because he and Krasinski are about the same age, and Doctor Doom and Reed Richards were college roommates, I think it was. So they would have to be in the same age dynamic, and they have to be very similar in looks and everything. So,
yeah. Well, hey, like I said, I mean, I've been wrong before about stuff like it's I'm not always correct. So I just like you said, Alexis, you never know. It's a possibility that maybe Henry Cavill will end up playing Doctor Doom. So I'll put it out there.
I think from what I've gathered here, even though we have some people here who aren't sure if it has been confirmed, I haven't heard any of us say that it's a bad casting.
Oh,
Does everyone here agree that's a good choice?
No, that's a different kind of question. As far as that standpoint goes, no, I think it'd be great, especially if they decided to do like a Disney Plus series where they actually let a villain like have an origin story and whatnot for once instead of a superhero. And you did that with Doctor Doom as like the case study almost. His origin story is very interesting. It really is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they never flushed it out at all in like the older Fox Fantastic Four films. Really, they never even touched on.
We don't talk about Doctor Doom in those movies.
Well, either way, they didn't even really get into the dynamic with his mother and Mephisto and like, that being like his real, like, mission in life, almost like his Thanos objective, like in life being to like bring his mother back from like, hell, the hell dimension.
Exactly.
And that's why he become like, I think she essentially trains him into like the mystic arts. Like,
before
he's almost
gets damned to hell. Yeah.
Yeah. He's almost like a quasi version of a Doctor Strange, just a villain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Victor Von Doom has a fascinating background because he's a master of science and a master of sorcery. And there really hasn't been a character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe who has been able, we've seen masters of sorcery, we've seen masters of science. We haven't seen a character who can hold both like that. All right. So does anyone else want to throw in anything else about this potential leak? Because if not, I believe, Jeff, you mentioned you want to play the trailer for the midway point of She-Hulk, and that is going to lead us nicely into the next part of our discussion. So
yes, but before I do that, let me go ahead and throw to Abigail and let's flush out this. Abigail, what's your premise as far as the whole internal battle with She-Hulk and Jennifer Walters and everything, Abigail?
I think it's really interesting that they chose like this character specifically to sort of flesh out that storyline of, I don't know, like I haven't read the comics, so I don't know if like that's how it is in the comics, like if she does have this like internal battle going on within her. But I mean, like it's a very real like internal struggle that like one can have, and I, like me personally, I like identify with it, and so it was really interesting to see that like portrayed on screen. I thought that was it was really good.
Most definitely. And you know what, Renee, I think I would really like to get your opinion on that too.
Okay, could you repeat the question?
The whole dichotomy of Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk and that internal struggle, like playing out throughout the series.
Oh yeah, I've already touched on it pretty well. That how she's shrinking as She-Hulk, grows.
Yes.
Hopefully I think that's going to be the part of the resolution of at least this series. I don't think it's been played up enough. I don't think it's been brought out enough in the series itself. I mean, there's a poignancy there that we kind of saw in the first episodes with her family. I think we've lost some of that. Hopefully it's going to bring it back. Of course, there's whatever's going on with her cousin. I want to get a few more hints about that down the road. I think Jasmine is, pretty much got us up to snuff of what's probably going to happen, and it's very exciting and everything. I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully, I think it's just going to be more. They're going to bring some of that warmness back that I think was in the first 2 episodes that I think we've been missing in the last few, because I think it's got a little too sitcom-y, a little too cliched in parts. And
I would agree with that.
We should get more back into it. It is superheroes here, so, and it's not Sex in the City or anything like that. You can have a little bit of that, but let's focus on what's at hand. So so far, I'll give it. I'll give this episode probably about a 6 or something like that. 6.5. I don't know if that's what you were asking me.
I think that's pretty fair. No, I think that's pretty fair. And I'm going to say, I'll wait till the end of the show to give my rating. But did anybody, was I the only one that noticed that that period that She-Hulk experienced, where when Bobby said flat out that like Jennifer Walters wasn't his type, but She-Hulk was, and how poignant that was, and how she kind of like froze there for a minute and like almost thought about that for a second, and had that moment where like, I guess she, like, in a way, like Renee was saying, like, like the She-Hulk side is kind of pushing itself ahead of like the Jennifer Walters, or in a way, or like, kind of like, elevating above it in a way almost. She's almost like seeing like, I guess for me, that I felt like that was a really powerful and like poignant moment in the episode. It was probably one of the biggest ones.
She never asked for any of this. She didn't.
No,
this was all thrust upon her by accident.
Just like in the comics.
No, she likes to be a lawyer. She does. She enjoys being a lawyer. That's obvious. Like that's what she wants to do. I don't think that she really enjoys fighting people or like beating people up and shit like that and whatnot. I think eventually she will. You know what I mean? But like, I think it's going to take time.
They were kind of explaining that she likes being able to walk at night and not fear for her life. And she's starting to realize that she'd rather be, just like in the comic, She-Hulk 24. I think that's kind of where they're building to.
But how sad that is that she has to be stronger than a man, more threatening, more ferocious than a man. To feel that way.
Well, we got 4 ladies on this podcast. I think we all can identify with the idea of, it's like we like to think that we're in a more advanced society, but we still have to be worried about going to our car late at night.
Yeah, like being on the transgender spectrum over here. It is kind of something that you kind of have to deal with as a woman. It is something that is frightening. And for She-Hulk, especially for Jen Walters, it's kind of like transforming into a better you when you turn into the Hulk. And unlike Bruce, she can control it. And that's kind of what they were hinting at with the trailers, is that she's going to eventually grow into herself and eventually realize that maybe she's happy.
Very true.
Well, overall, I think that I don't want to see that kind of angle get taken too far, though. Kind of like I think Kevin mentioned when he was on, in terms of the fact that I don't want to see there's some kind of like clear demasculization going on in the series or whatever, where you take away like the basic concepts and like moral like fiberish aspects of a man, where we're supposed to protect women. You know what I'm saying? Like in our core, like that's supposed to be our job and role in life. Like you know what I mean? Is to protect and defend. I believe in that.
That's so
you know what I'm saying?
caveman.
I don't care. That's who I am, and that's who I'll always be. Like
that's good,
yeah,
but
that's not what's being done, Jeff. I don't think that at all. I think what's being pointed out is the sad fact that despite the moral fiber ish or whatever is of what the man is supposed to be, it's not working. We're still having we've been having the same problems. Women have been dealing with the same problems for millennia.
And it's getting worse.
Ubiquitous. And I'm not pointing at any time. It's ubiquitous. It's ubiquitous in all societies.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. We're reviewing the House of the Dragons episodes and whatnot. Look at how women were treated back then compared to now.
Well, we're talking about now.
Okay, her brother was hot. Give me her family's hot. I'll give her that. I'm sorry. I would have been just like the Lannisters. Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I don't want to start a battle of the sexes argument here, but we're talking about it's for a fact, and I mean it's not just they're men now. It's hard to defend it. It's you don't know what's out there, and so but this is what women have been dealing with forever.
Oh, there's a lot of shitty men out there. There's no question about that, Renee. I'm not gonna.
That's kind of what the show is throwing at
all
you.
Over the world where women are getting treated a lot worse, still getting treated that way.
Actually, it's getting worse.
It really is.
Well, I'm talking about like out in Africa and parts of Asia and South America and places like that.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think women doming dudes and shit and picking them up like babies and whatnot and swinging them around and all that is the answer to like the equation.
I think so. Shit, I'll take She-Hulk if you don't want her. Okay.
I'll tell you what.
How about that Daredevil helmet?
I'd rather actually have a group to hang out with. I'd rather have the Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk together if possible.
I'd rather date She-Hulk because Jennifer's too mousy. Like you'd have to. Jennifer Walters would be like dating someone that has like 1,000 bags of baggage.
She's cute
right now.
She's cute. I love her as Jennifer Walters.
It's not the fact that she's not attractive. It's about her sense of self. She's losing herself in the identity of She-Hulk. Like think of it as like your brother or your dad is Superman and you're just a human. And people expect so much from you. But unlike your father or your brother, you don't have those powers. So you're basically being overshadowed. And that's how she feels when she is with the whole She-Hulk identity that's just been thrusted upon her mid-career.
Well, when it boils down to it, if I met She-Hulk in real life, just because I'm a decent guy and actually believe in communication and whatnot and everything, and I'm not afraid to openly ask for consent and treat women with respect and decency and whatnot, I firmly believe that She-Hulk will be more than happy to let me straight up slave her the hell out. Whether she's She-Hulk or Jennifer Walters, I don't think it would make any difference. So
no, maybe Jennifer Walters with She-Hulk. Did you see how she picked that man up and how she said we should get those fries to go? No.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't bother you.
Oh well, you never, like we said, Renee, you never know, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you never know.
I pretty much know.
Yeah, right. I'm like, nah, no. She like
Okay, Alexa, back. The wheels back on track. I'll play the teaser.
Daredevil.
Strength is beauty. Beauty is strength. What makes you beautiful? She-Hulk by Titania.
This is the person who legally outmaneuvered you? Yeah. Why didn't you trademark your own pseudonym?
Why would I? Did Doctor Strange have to trademark his name? Did Thor?
You chose two examples of people who use their real names.
I'm still Jennifer Walters. She-Hulk is just a thing that happened to me.
You said you didn't like the name She-Hulk.
I don't. I do admit, though, there are parts of it that I enjoy. The amazing hair, no hangover, being able to walk home at night without being afraid.
You put on your green suit.
Put on my green suit?
Yeah, jolly green yourself. I don't know what you call it.
Hulking out.
Okay, good. Whatever.
Trouble's gonna find you. Weird, unexpected trouble. Why ain't you answering your mobile phone?
I'll be right back. Life would be so much easier if I was just Jen.
I think you're in a unique position to do some real good. Jen Walters can use the law to help people when society fails them. She-Hulk can help people when the law fails them.
This guy's really kind of doing it for me. Big energy.
Oh, did you get a ticket for texting? Just say you were texting 911. They can't prosecute.
That isn't what this is, and that's not true.
I just gotta say, I love the explosion of love that the character of Madison has gotten. That is so hilarious. The actress is now a confirmed guest at several Comic-Cons. People
That's
are
awesome.
just loving this character. They love her. I never would have predicted it.
She's like the MCU version of Snooki.
I would like to think she's
more class.
appealing than
She's got
Snooki.
more class.
Yeah.
Paris Hilton
And that's saying a
without
lot.
that annoying. Paris Hilton now, not Paris Hilton back in the day. That's what I'm getting from her. High class, drinks so much.
It does unfortunately have one major goof in that she takes the stand in that episode. It's actually illegal to testify when you're drunk. Because you can't,
Well, you're not of sound mind and body.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think she's sober. I think she's just like that 24/7. That's why people are like, have a drink. Have you noticed that every time she's on screen, she sounds like she's drunk?
Mm-hmm.
So I've always
maybe she's not actually just drunk all the time. She's just that airheaded.
That's how I get on jury duty. I just tell them I was going to say, I just tell them in my application that I'm an alcoholic and I drink constantly, so I'm not qualified, to be in a jury.
I don't think she's an airhead.
Life
I
lessons
think
from the MCU's Bleeding Edge, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry, Jess, what were you saying?
I don't think she's an airhead. Not completely. Because I think the way that they're trying to spin it is like she's an airhead. But I have a feeling that she's not as dumb as she seems. Have you noticed that every character they introduce has a reason for them being there? And they're not just there to just be a joke anymore. Like, especially with the newest installment of like the Phase 4. Like, I didn't think Wong was going to be here that long. And with him being introduced into She-Hulk and just seeing him gain more power, it's kind of interesting seeing how lesser known characters, especially in the comics, are getting pulled to the forefront. And I don't think she's going to be completely airheaded, but I kind of hope she dates Wong.
Yep, and I see that happening about as likely as it's snowing down here in Southwest Florida next week. But either
They
way,
were watching The Sopranos together.
did it? Am I the Am I the only one that noticed in the trailer that it looked like Daredevil and She-Hulk actually were like physically tangling at one point?
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
they actually
they're
date in the comics at some point. They date in the comics at some point, so I don't think it's no. They're not fighting each other. I think they're.
Well, that was my question, Jasmine. That's what I was saying. Like,
No,
in
I
the
don't think they're
trailer.
fighting. I
Well,
think
hold
they're
on.
actually.
I could see Daredevil going for Jen. He would really love the Jen part.
It could work out then to have Jen start making cameo appearances in the new Daredevil series that we're getting.
Yep.
I'd love it.
All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and get to it. The scene that everyone's talking about from this episode was the last 2 seconds as we see that our Edna Mode is a little upset about client confidentiality because a certain package was left out in the open. Just be honest here, who else squeed when they saw what was in the package?
I did.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Be honest.
I'm in a black screen. How are you going to tell me to raise a hand?
I can hear you squeeing now, honey. I can tell what you're doing. All right. So, do we think we're going to get Daredevil in the next episode? Or you think, because this is a 9-episode season, so we still got 4 more episodes to go.
Oh, I forgot
Abigail,
about that.
Abigail,
Yeah,
when
I
do you
think
think
so.
we're going to get Daredevil? You think he's coming in the next episode? You think this was his cue?
I don't
yes,
think
because
that's-
he's only in 1 episode.
Wait, Jasmine. She said Abigail. Let Abigail talk.
I just don't think that it's coming that soon. I think that we're gonna get they're gonna tease us. We got a taste of it, but I don't think we're seeing him come either. I don't see it happening within the next 2 episodes. I just don't.
Okay. Renee, I'm going to ask you a different question.
Okay.
So we've known for a while that Daredevil was coming ever since they dropped, I can't remember if it was the first or second trailer, where they actually do show a little bit of his costume. And that's where we find out that he is also getting the classic gold and red. Do you think this would have been a better reveal if they hadn't spoiled his appearance in the trailers? If this was our first time seeing that he was in the show?
Well, I think probably that they just go ahead and letting it be known that he's going to be coming because they had the his series that's coming up after this, Unborn, Born Again. I'm sorry, Daredevil Born Again.
Mm-hmm.
And as you mentioned, I think there's probably going to be some bleed over, some double, kind of like they were doing with the Netflix series, where you had Jessica Jones and the Punisher and all these guys. They were kind of intermingling and helping each other out, and it's guest appearances in other episodes. So I think we're probably going to see some of that with She-Hulk and at least probably maybe as the Jessica Walters character. She-Hulk will be suppressed somewhat, but we'll see more of her as a lawyer. That's what I would like to see, some more of that, and I think it could be real interesting, particularly if they kind of bring it back into the Netflix theme of it, of how serious it was and how it wasn't fun and games and fun sitcom stuff and silly stuff, and lots of fun stuff that we're enjoying, but I'm wanting to get to some meat and potatoes here. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. And I love Daredevil. I think one of the best TV series they've done, I think, was the Daredevil TV series. So I'm very pro all this. So yeah, go ahead and let him be known up front. Yeah, I think it was probably the right thing to do. It would have been maybe too gimmicky to throw it in. Go ahead and get it up. Let the cat out of the bag, as it were.
All right. Cyber, I haven't really heard a lot from you on this particular show. What do you think about the confirmation about Daredevil going to the gold and red costume, the classic? What do you think about them doing that instead of the red costume that we have kind of known him for in more recent comics, the more recent Daredevil series, and of course the 2003 movie?
Well, just like with anything with Disney, Marvel, they always tend to want to revamp what has already been done. So I'm not shocked that they decided to go with a different look for him and decided to go with this particular one, especially because they like to kind of embellish on what is already known to in the comics and so forth. So yeah, I'm not really shocked by that. I knew from the trailer we saw that he was in a different look. I didn't suspect him to be in the same outfit we were, familiar with him in the Netflix series. I definitely knew they were going to change him for that because that's Netflix and that's different than this upcoming series because it has been confirmed that there's going to be no relation to that series with this one. So it's not going to be the same continuation of story. So they're going fresh. They're cleaning the slate. So I'm not shocked by that. Also, why hasn't anybody brought up the awesome merchandise that was in this film with the Avengers and the Avengers? That was absolutely hilarious when that Asian guy was like, here you go. Here's the merch. And they're like, no, we're looking for real shit, that is absolutely hilarious. And I just had to bring that up.
That did make me laugh, especially since working the Comic-Con circuit. I have come across a lot of bootleg merch that way. I even love that the colors were off on a lot of them. Anyone else notice Hulk was purple on the shirts? That kind of stuff kills me. It's just like, yeah, who do you think you're fooling? You're just adorable like that.
We had one of the best, just funny scene where he like slapstick scenes where they're like, he goes around and then boom, he's behind him. And it was like, and I got a good belly laugh out of that. So, and let me point out, going back to the reveal. Remember, they've already done the Daredevil. He did the little surprise cameo in Spider-Man. So if they did another surprise, thing, I think it would be redundant. So he's already done that as it were.
You're saying that if they had not put him in the trailer and the reveal we had gotten was just this last episode, you think it would have been redundant after what we saw with Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I say, now it would be because then everybody would say, well, didn't he already do that? You could run into that hairy like situation. But anyway, it's what's done's done,
That's true. So another question, who here really remembers the previous Daredevil series?
Me.
Well, I mean, sort of. I think, Cyber, are we still in the same spot, both of us? I'm still on like episode 11 or 12, I think, of season 2.
I'm on like episode 2 of season 2 so far. Yeah, I haven't had a chance.
All right, then, Jeff, I'll kick this to you. In season 1, Matt Murdock lands his own Edna mode, the guy who built the armor for Kingpin, and he's the one who makes the red Daredevil armor for him, so he's no longer wearing the black ninja suit. Why do you think Matt has decided to basically go with another haute couture designer instead of his usual guy?
Well, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I didn't really think about it that deeply. Shout out to Tex, Not Dead. It's good to see you. Good to see you, our friend. We haven't seen you in a while. Appreciate you. Appreciate you supporting us. I don't know. I mean, I guess. Knowing Matt Murdock from the comics and like his thinking and the way like he is and whatnot, he's very logically based. So like, he's not the type, when it comes to his costumes, just like when he had the one you're talking about in the series, his biggest concern was padding and like being able to take a beating and, will it hold up against gunshots and stuff like that and whatnot? Like what kind of level of armor can it give me and whatnot? Like he's the type of, if anything, he's concerned about combat. Like, he fights. Like that's what Daredevil does. Like, obviously the Daredevil series, displays that very clearly. Like, he's a fighter. Like that, he likes to mix it up and throw fists. He's not, he's not the Punisher. He's not going to be out there killing people, but he's not afraid to like throw fists either. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, like that's his first move usually is to go ahead and pop somebody. Like, he's not afraid to jump right in and jack somebody real quick.
Yeah, his father was a fighter.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He comes from that boxing background. So, if anything, I would have to assume that, it would have to, I doubt it would be like a style change. If anything, it would have something to do with an involvement of like the armor or like, or maybe it's more lightweight or something or more fluid to allow him to move better and like whatnot, you know what I mean? Or, something like that. But I mean, as far as and then of course there's the fan service aspect and whatnot, and tying it to the comics and the fact that it's like, again, it's literally the first Daredevil outfit that we ever got in the comics. So there's that fan service connection too. I just want to point out there and chime in on what episode I think Daredevil will pop in the series. I think it'll probably be in episodes 8 and 9, and they'll have like a 2-episode wrap-up arc to tie off the series. It just makes sense because I mean, at this point, the hype for like Daredevil popping up in this series is massive online. And at that point, I just think like, the biggest payoff for them would be to wait for the 8th and the 9th and the finale and sort of just have like a two-parter where like, they have some kind of like, connection, some kind of little short story that they run off on. And I think in that teaser, it kind of almost gives us that kind of sense that like they're going to be kind of intertwined, like in the courtroom and outside of the courtroom too. One question I'd have would be like, are they going to reveal, like, is he going to reveal his secret identity to her? Is she going to be able to tell the difference between like Matt Murdock and like him as Daredevil?
Well, let's face it. It's confirmed in the comics that Matt Murdock's secret identity is probably the worst kept secret in the Marvel universe. Everyone knows who Daredevil is.
Well, not in the MCU yet. Right? I mean, we don't like not.
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't think it's going to be that hard for her to figure out. Let's see here. Jasmine, you had something you want to jump in on this?
I did want to mention that they said that the soft reboot. That's what I'm hearing through the reins. But when it comes to Daredevil himself, I loved his original show, and with his original Edna mode, I feel like the reason why he's going kind of switching away from New York right now is because remember that Fisk got blipped, and he now that he's back, he's trying to regain power. So he may have Daredevil's old Edna mode in like busy, and so while he's trying to he came to this side to kind of stay away from that while everything's going chaotic. That's probably why he went and got a new Edna mode, because of all the chaos that's probably going on in New York, because we haven't really seen the after blip chaos really. We've only seen like little bits and pieces. So I'm kind of curious what's going on over there, especially that's why I'm excited for Daredevil.
All right. Well, unfortunately, it looks like Abigail has got to bounce off here. If you want to give one more shout out to your plugs, we'd love to learn more about what you do and where folks can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the host of the Manic, Pixie, Weirdo podcast, where we talk about relationships, all the different kinds of relationships that you can have in your life. You can find me on Twitter at @MPWeirdoPodcast or email me at manicpixieweirdo@protonmail.com. I would just like to say thank you guys so much for having me. I've had a lot of fun and I really, really enjoyed the show. So thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for coming on, hon.
Thank you, Abigail. It's really good to finally have a chance to see you.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right.
Wasn't she sweet?
Very much. Very much.
Yeah, very much so. I think
All
we
right.
overtalked her, though.
I think we got a little sidetracked with our discussion.
No, she's just a very mellow person.
Although I hate to say it, if there is anything else that we want to talk about, I think actually we're getting to the end of this discussion anyway. So is there, before we launch into our own plugs, is there any other points from this episode that anyone wants to bring up?
Let's do ratings.
Okay.
Cyber, you want to start?
Okie dokie. I give this a solid 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. I love the whole concept of Titania taking the She-Hulk name and making it into a fragrance and making it into her, beauty line. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And I just loved everything about the episode. It was super funny. I love the whole courtroom sequence. I thought that was really fun too. And the Avengers and Avengers thing was absolutely hilarious too. Josh Segura, who plays Pug, he's absolutely amazing actor. Absolutely love that guy, and I love him as Pug. I wish he would get more screen time for this series because he is just so funny. A lot of people don't realize he was actually in a CW show, Arrow. He played the main villain in one of the seasons.
Oh, okay.
And he actually was Prometheus in Arrow. And so he has been in DC and Marvel, so he has seen both sides. So
hey, that's a rarity. There's not many actors or actresses that have done that.
Yep. As we know, Henry Cavill will be the next to do that. So, but yeah, overall, really enjoyed the episode. Thought there was a lot of good laughs, and I found it fun.
All right. Renee, you want to go next?
Yeah, I've already pretty much said everything. I gave it a 6.5 pretty much. I'm pretty harsh on it. I think at least from where I started with it, which had it higher rated first episodes, because I think it has kind of flattened a little bit and just, I mean, really it was, for me, it was boring. It was a boring episode. I didn't really, other than a couple of laughs and whatnot, and it was fun to watch, it was things that happened, but it's lost, I think, some of the depth it had in the first episodes, and I wanted to get back to that. So hopefully this is just a little valley and a little swoop up, and it'll be a much higher rating at the end.
All right. Jasmine, what do you have to say? Jasmine, you're muted. There, yeah, almost. There you go.
Did I get
it? You got
it.
You're
okay. Basically, I give it a 9 for the episode. As Renee said, it did feel like a filler episode, but I'm not mad at it. Mostly because of the fact that we need a little bit more depth into not just She-Hulk, but we kind of need to learn a little bit more about this version of Titania. And getting a little bit more screen time with her and Pug. Oh my God, Pug. I love Pug so much. The actor who plays him, let's see. Josh, I don't even know how to say his name. Segura? Did I say that right?
Like that, yeah.
I think he's doing a great job as the character. I know that in the comics, him and She-Hulk date. So I kind of hoping, fingers crossed that is kind of where they're going with it, with him being best friends with her best friend. But yeah, I definitely give it a 9 because, it's not horribly structured. And Edna Mode was like a winner. It seems like it feels less like a She-Hulk show and more of a, like everyone else who's cameoed their show. That's just my opinion, but I like it.
All right, Jeff, what do you give it?
I'd say, but on the at the best end of the spectrum, I'd give it a 7.5. If I had to go worse, I'd say probably like a 7.25. So, like I said, like I was telling in saying in the private chat, in between Renee and Cyber and Jasmine, sort of, you know what I mean, and whatever, I don't know. What'd you think, Alexis? What's your? I know you're moderating, but what's your rating?
I'm giving it a 7 on the grounds that it did have some good moments. I love the Edna Mode character, but this feels more like an episode that they had to do to get from point A to point B. It feels like this was put in solely because A, we need to set up Titania versus She-Hulk. We need to set up where she's going to get her outfits from, and we needed the Daredevil teaser. It really doesn't feel like anything else in this episode had a lot of weight, but it was simply putting the pieces into motion to have weight. And unfortunately, it doesn't make a bad episode, but when you rack all the episodes together, it does make one that has less of an impact. So that's just my thought.
Yeah, and and I just wanted to just mention really quick, I personally would not have minded it if they would have expanded Abomination, Tim Ross, role in the series. If they would have had him in maybe more than one episode, you know, I would have rather seen him in a second episode or whatever, maybe, or third episode or whatever, as opposed to like maybe them going in this direction, like you said, as almost like a stopgap measure, or like, you know, just kind of, you know, just to kind of get from point A to point B. I don't think it would have hurt.
We saw Abomination in that teaser trailer you dropped. He's gonna show back up.
You're right.
We're done with Abomination.
No, okay, you're right. He was in the teaser trailer. You're right. I forgot about that. He was in it, so he will be back in, and Wong will be back in too, which I think is great. Then we'll see Wong again. And see, now right there, I was wrong because I thought Wong would be done after the last episode.
Actually, a little interesting point to drop down is that in the episode where he got his release, they said that he was getting his release on the grounds that he never transformed back into the Abomination again. He is clearly the Abomination in that trailer, so he's violating a court order, and that's going to be one hell of a headache for Jen. All right. So, Jeff, do we have anything else we need to cover? Shall we move on to plugs?
Well, I mean, I just want to point out just one last thing before the plugs. And I don't, if anybody has anything to add to this, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine. What I took from that teaser, the one thing I did wonder a little bit was like, I wonder what this case is or whatever, or what it is that like Matt Murdock is getting involved in that would even be bringing them together. You know what I mean? Like that's, I guess, you know, like I know it's like, I mean, who knows, what it is, but it just it makes me wonder, like, you know, what in what facet is he like, you know, even involved or whatever, like from a legal standpoint with her firm, or the superhero firm, or whatever you want to call it, you know, because I mean, again, I'm just trying to think, like, you know, of like what possible maybe superhero or something or whatever he might be representing or something like in the court or whatever that would like put him in that spot, I guess. Besides that, like I found that interesting, like, you know, just wondering kind of like what it is that brings him into the show to begin with, you know, then what causes him to want to put the suit on and become Daredevil too. So it's you know, it's I like the speculation. It's a nice buildup.
All right, good way to look at it. Anything else?
I'm good.
All right, then let's go ahead and move on to plugs. Jasmine, would you like to go first? Tell us more about your YouTube channel.
All right. Basically, reacts, and pretty much I do makeup tutorials, music video reaction, movie reactions. I'm finally getting back into the whole social media thing. So soon I'll be doing YouTube videos again. I plan on doing more Marvel, DC, comic book oriented content. And yeah, I'm really excited to enjoy, you know, everything in general with coming back to YouTube. And my Twitter handle is Jazzy Production. And I pretty much am very much vocal on Twitter.
All right, excellent. Renee?
Well, not really anything to plug. I mean, if you want to talk to Loki's mom, Lady Death Lady, you can head over to sarkar.forum.net, and it's a great forum chat room where we talk about everything Marvel, also DC, Star Trek, and other science fiction films. It's a lot of fun. I would like to mention that in I think it was the DC3, whatever it is, the Disney thing that they just did, and we got to see Tom Hiddleston walk out on the stage, and he had on this beautiful cerulean sweater. And if you'll go, and if you look at the movie The Devil Wears Prada, it's the same sweater that Anne Hathaway has on in that movie. So thank goodness he borrowed somebody's sweater. He doesn't have the dark blue one on.
Good observation. All right. Cyber?
Yes. So, as always, if you enjoy me here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge, you can also check out my solo content over on YouTube as well. As you can see here, I'm currently in a contest called Face of Horror. It is a basically a contest to win $13,000, a walk-on role to an indie horror film, a 2-night stay at Buffalo Bill's house from Silence of the Lambs, and a picture tutorial in Rogue magazine. And right now it is in the second round. We just finished the first round. I made it, as you can see, currently third in the first round. So I am currently still in the game. This second cut ends September 22nd. If you go to the link provided, all you got to do is hit that 3 daily vote. Every vote counts towards keeping me on the top and getting me to that #1 spot. You can also, if you put in your Facebook information or a debit or credit card, you can also get 2 extra votes. They don't charge you anything. It doesn't cost a thing. There is the, as you can see, the red little vote thing there that says Scare Vote, which you can purchase for, it goes towards cancer research for children. You can do that. You don't have to. I just are asking for the free votes, if all that's known. But yeah, that is going till the 22nd. Round 2 is going to, and that cut goes down to 20 to 15. And then this contest will actually proceed until November. Actually, there are 9 complete rounds in this, so I'm lucky I made it to the second round. So I'm very happy that I made it there. So yeah, any votes that are appreciated to anybody watching and so forth and so like that. So you guys rock. Thank you for getting me to the second round.
All right, excellent. Jeff, do you want me to go next, or do you want to go next?
No, here, go ahead, Alexis, and I will really quick pull up your Etsy. Go ahead.
Then
I'll
all right, because I have 2 plugs. I got to do my company. I also got to do Rattleage and Broadcasting.
Sure.
But we'll go ahead and do the Etsy shop first. I run Honeysuckle Rose Creations, where fashion meets fandom at the intersection of geek and chic. Purveyors of handmade jewelry, upcycled from classic game pieces. We're getting ready for the Cincinnati Comic Expo, heading to that next week. Can't wait. We've been doing that show for a couple of years. Love it. We just uploaded a bunch of brand new products to our shop, including our new Endless inspired charm bracelet that's inspired by Neil Gaiman's Sandman series. We for you horror aficionados, we have our new Midsummer inspired earrings featuring the yellow pyramid from the finale of the movie. So, of course, those will be up on our Handmade at Amazon shop as well very soon. Just need to get those pictures finally edited. If you can't make it to Cincinnati, if you are in the Midwest, we hope you will come out to Anime NebraskaCon in Omaha. That's in October. That is one of the biggest anime shows in the Midwest. Love doing that one. So excited to be going back to that. As always, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as Pinterest. And again, our shops are on Etsy and Handmade at Amazon. And I guess the link's not going up.
I'm sorry, Alexis. I apologize. It's sometimes it's really hard to this is my fault. It's really hard to scroll down a Facebook Messenger thing sometimes and actually try to locate like a link or whatever.
I sent it in the private chat, man.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My bad.
And I've gone over on your website.
There we go.
On Etsy, Alexis, and I got to tell you, most of the most adorable charm bracelets. There's one in particular. I love the Operation one. And
those are actual Operation tokens with pearls.
Yeah, there you go. That. And there you can see how and everything's on there, and I just love everything that's on there, and I can't decide which Operation bracelet I want, which color. I like them all.
Oh, thank you.
Alexis, do you want me to highlight something specifically on here?
No, it's cool. Just scroll down. It's all cool. You can see if you stop and go back up real quick.
I want everything.
Thank you. Go up 2 more blocks. 1 more. There. Stop. Okay, you can see the Endless inspired Scrabble tile charm bracelet that is inspired by the character. Down. Roll the mouse down. There you go. No, back to the right.
There you go.
That's it. Click that.
There's a delay.
Fair enough, but I feel like one of those people outside the airport with the waving the people's like, it's like go to the left, go down.
Oh, you know what? I really like that too, Alexis. That is really neat.
Thank you very much. I worked very hard on that one. Features the sigils of the 7 endless: destiny, death, dream, destruction, desire, despair, delirium. All right, and I guess I'll go ahead and do the plugs for my other podcast. That is with the Radulich and Broadcasting Network on W2M Network. We just did a review of the new live-action Pinocchio that debuted on Disney Plus. I'll give you guys a little spoiler here. It's crap. So we got that. We're looking at doing a couple other movie reviews coming up. I also just posted. Sorry, agree to disagree. Yeah, the guys just wrapped up discussing the latest season of Cobra Kai because I have at least 3 people on the network who don't know how to shut up about that. Yeah, there's our review of Pinocchio. So we got some more stuff coming up here pretty soon. We record new shows a couple every week. We have so much fun. So if the sound of my voice has not completely, discouraged you from ever listening to podcasts again, go ahead and head on over to the W2M network.
I'll second that. I will second that. And shout out to Jesse Starcher, our good friend over there and whatnot. And shout out to Mark, as always. I hope you're doing all right, Mark. We're hopefully going to get Mark in on here maybe for like episode 7 of the She-Hulk series. So hopefully he'll pop on. And hey, what's up, Trista? So basically, I don't really have any plugs, so I don't make any personal content, at least none that I will that I'm willing to claim legally. So at that point,
when are you live next? What's your next live show?
Oh, well, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. Actually, we just had. I was actually very disappointed that we didn't have Renee last Sunday for our episode 3 of the House of the Dragon review. And that Cyber couldn't make it either because it was such a great episode. It was absolutely fabulous. It was literally the best episode so far of the series for me. I thought like it was really a game changer. And I felt like it was one where like, it was really like sad that like my friends weren't there. I couldn't hear their opinions and whatnot on it, like I really felt like Renee, I felt like that was the one that was going to finally like win you over. You know what I mean?
I actually haven't seen it yet, so the episode I have to catch up before I do Sunday show coming up. But was there dragons in it?
You know what? There's dragons in it, and there's lots of like the dragons killing people and everything, and eviscerating them with their flames and whatnot. And
there you go.
And there's all kinds of like, and Viserys has like this whole psychological internal struggle throughout the whole episode. It's very interesting. Believe me, you're gonna love it. Right. So yes, on Sunday, I think Cyber. What did you say that you were gonna come out if we did it for 5 p.m.?
Yep.
Yeah. So 5 p.m. on Sunday, we'll be doing our House of the Dragon episode 4 review. Renee will be on there. Hopefully, Cyber will be on there. We'll have Bobby Peep on with us again. William from Geek Gauntlet Podcast might make his way over, and I'll be there. So it should be a good time. And then, of course, next Wednesday on our main show, we'll be doing the 3rd episode of the Lord of the Rings, The Rings of the Power series. Cyber and I will be there again. And I'm not sure who we're going to have on yet for that one. We're keeping it kind of small for the teams for those shows so far. Probably will for the whole series. I'm not very well networked in the Lord of the Rings community, so unfortunately, but we're having a great time doing the reviews. The House of the Dragon series is heating up. It's getting better and better. And, the Lord of the Rings of Power series, it seems great so far. So come check us out. And please subscribe and help me and Cyber reach 3,000 subs because we cannot wait. Awkward silence.
I was gonna say I think that's all the plugs. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up here. But Jeff, since you're the one with the end broadcasting button, I assumed you would go ahead and say the closing lines.
I'm sorry, Alexis. I apologize. My bad. I didn't mean to leave you hanging like that.
It's all good.
Or maybe I did it on purpose. Who knows? I'm just joking. I didn't do that.
Yeah. They hate when you elevate. They're stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate.